You've been told to make the perfect strategy, but here's the truth. Strategy kills magnetism. Magnetism isn't a funnel, it's not a schedule, it's not a plan. It's the way your nervous system either collapses under effort or expands into safety. In this video, I'll show you how to stop confusing strategy with magnetism, and why leaning on old paradigm strategy is the very thing that's blocking your visibility, your money, and your relationships. You'll leave knowing exactly how to shift into the kind of presence that actually attracts. First of all, strategy is a survival pattern. It essentially says, if I do this thing enough or the right way, then I'll be chosen. Or if I figure it out, then I'll be safe. Magnetism, on the other hand, is resonance. It essentially broadcasts into the world and the universe, I let what's real and aligned find me. Magnetism, which is also resonance, magnetism is the outer effect, while resonance is the inner experience. But when you show up in that way, you're also kind of acknowledging, through action and frequency, that there's an intelligence in my body that's deeper and more profound and powerful than that of my mind. And it knows where to lead me, even if I can't see it with my eyes or understand it with my brain. Strategy has industrial age roots. It was built for efficiency, productivity, structure, predictability. That makes sense during a time when humans were treated like machines. Guess what? We're moving away from that. The new paradigm is all about authenticity, resonance, and timing. What's alive and true spreads a lot faster than what's optimized. There is an inherent rigidity in strategy, in old paradigm strategy, and it requires your nervous system to brace because it requires constant output. It also requires a calibration that's sort of externalized rather than internalized, guided by an outer structure rather than an inner resonance or your inner voice or your inner truth. And your body reads that as pressure. And pressure equals contraction. And contraction blocks magnetism, it blocks resonance, and it blocks our ability to truly receive. Here's the thing though, safety does not equal planning. It's an illusion of safety. Because if your body doesn't feel safe, well, it doesn't matter how prepared you are. It doesn't matter what the plan is or how good it is. If your body doesn't feel safe, that's the signal you're putting out. And your signal, not gonna land, not gonna attract anything good. Magnetism is always going to require really consistent and intentional regulation, not spreadsheets, not lists, breath, and intention. Here are some signs that you're strategizing rather than magnetizing. This could be doing something, some form of output on autopilot, following a schedule religiously, but kind of not listening to your body's signals. The distinction here is not to have a schedule or some kind of routine, but it's to not fall asleep to it and not let that be what's guiding you, not externalizing your authority to it, continuing to have this relationship and this negotiation between the structure out there and the guidance within. Body comes first with new paradigm, strategy, and structure. It's waking up every day and saying, today, does this strategy actually work for me? Is this actually aligned with me? Because today is a new day and maybe it's not the right move for me. It's acknowledging that output does not equal resonance, output does not equal authenticity, and sometimes it's worth dialing it back instead of hustling forward when that's what your energy is calling for. For example, I have a very rigorous posting schedule and a very thorough, detailed content creation strategy and growth plan. The reason it's not old paradigm is because my body is leading it. There have been days and there have been weeks where I've actually needed a full break from content creation, and I've taken it. And that was hard for my kind of inner critic. That was hard for the drill sergeant in my head that does want me to get things moving and does put pressure on me. That is all old paradigm. Had I continued going and pushing and hustling, I would have fallen out of alignment. And my content likely would have consequently been less authentic, less embodied, less resonant. So taking that break, even if it did cause a dip in my metrics for a couple weeks after the fact, was worth it in the long run because it allowed me to recalibrate, recenter, come back to my why, and move forward in integrity. There's also a very old paradigm collective habit where we really outsource worth self-worth and validation to metrics and numbers, just everything external, you'll find that all of this is just really externalizing all of these things. External authority, external guidance, external validation, external. And the new paradigm is all about taking it back. It's a reclamation of all of those things that's always been in here. But it's saying, I don't need 10,000 subscribers or however many subscribers to feel worthy, to feel that my message is important, to feel that my voice matters. I am. And I am that same version of me that has that amount of subscribers and more and so on. That's all within me. That is the new paradigm. It's that embodiment. It's that recognition of it's all the same. I don't need anything outside of myself to know that. It could be over-optimizing, constantly tweaking and refining headlines, timing, strategy, everything. Trying to package things up in the prettiest possible way, focusing more on the aesthetics and the surface rather than the actual content and message itself. Trusting the aliveness and the integrity of it. Moving away from, I should do this because that's what's worked for other people. People who are actually aligned with the message of what they're doing, whether they use their voice, whether they're doing ASMR, whether they're doing, doesn't matter, whatever anyone is doing. If their embodied message or their service is in integrity, it's felt. And that is resonance. That is magnetism. And that is going to be sustained through the new paradigm. And also just a felt sense of strategy mode. A feeling of restlessness, like you're bracing, like you're always a step behind, like you're climbing a ladder. There is nothing more old paradigm than that sentence right there. New paradigm is, you are right on time. Time, by the way, didn't know if you know this, but is a construct, okay? It's a made up human thing. And there's no should timeline. There's a path that was created to control people, to make us think that we did not have control so we could be very slave life in the name of very, very rich and powerful people at the top of the chain. The truth is, we each have our own individual unique path. We each have our own cards that we're dealt and energies that we're working with and blueprints that we can choose to align with at a higher octave or a lower octave. And when you move into one direction, either way, you still end up on your own timeline, still largely out of your control. The one thing you can control is which direction do you want to go, towards truth or away from it. Either way, timing doesn't matter. What matters is that you're regulated, that you're truthful and honest with yourself, because that's a much healthier and happier and more fulfilling way to live, and it's the way that's going to actually give back to others and make the world a better place. Strategy really just creates noise. It's just another old paradigm, ego-driven thing that just creates noise and chaos and confusion for all. Magnetism creates signal. It's what makes you a lighthouse so that other people can see you and find their own true north. Because resonance, not only does it feel true, but it reminds when one person has their signal on in a really honest and embodied way, guess what? It reminds people of their light within. Of course, not without collapse, not without chaos. Talked about that in other videos as well. Truth and clarity, of course, lead to disruption, which for people who are grasping at ego, we're seeing this on a collective level right now. There is an energy. I mean, Pluto is in Aquarius. Like, there's a full-blown energy of revolution. Not far. Energetic sovereignty. Everything that was a threat to hierarchical systems is like brewing. So yeah, we've got ego screaming and kicking and fighting for its life, because that's what happens. But ultimately we all rise, right? When one person rises, everyone's rising too. We're collectively raising the vibration of each other as a species of all beings on this planet, and Earth itself, Gaia. Nature on this planet is wildly intelligent. Think of Mother Nature, how all the systems are connected. She's a living, breathing being. And she too is going through this massive awakening as well. But first, this crazy kind of death and rebirth cycle, just like we are. Okay, here's what magnetism feels like in contrast. Silence is not panic, it's power. It's knowing that we live in an energetic universe and that you do not need to hear noise, see comments, get feedback, have anything externally mirrored back to you to feel the ripple effects of the signal that you put out. It's energetic, and if you really tune into it, and you tune your frequency, and you establish real profound presence, you can feel the impact of your integrity. You just have to learn how to tune into it. You have to learn to see what it feels like, and then you have to start feeding it and giving to it, and then it builds. It's just like building a muscle. Likewise, you might post because you know, oh, inner voice says, I've got like a little flicker of inspiration, time to record, time to do the project, time to go see that friend, time to get out to this event. Tonight's the night to go out out on the town, that kind of thing. Listening to your inner voice to guide you through life, rather than going out because you have FOMO, doing the project because you feel like you have to, or whatever it is, these sort of scarcity, old paradigm shoulds. It's moving away from should and moving towards this feels aligned. People come closer to you because they feel resonant with the signal you're putting out, rather than obligation or guilt or pressure, rather than feeling like they should because you have mutual connections. None of that nonsense. Magnetism does not come from effort. It comes from presence. Here is how to shift from effort to magnetism. It's easier than you think, I promise. Notice one place in your life, just at least one place, where you are using strategy. You can ask yourself simply, am I forcing this? Or does this feel alive in my body? Does this excite me? Do I wake up in the morning actually excited about the path that this is leading on in an embodied way, not a mental way? And I really invite you to get curious about the difference, because the mental way is going to be the ego's mind. It's going to get you excited about something that might be misaligned. It might give you ideas about what actually is aligned because there may be similarities, but I need you feeling in your body. Is there a subtle pit in your stomach about it? Is there some kind of tension, some kind of resistance around it, even if your mind says it's exciting? Sometimes we convince ourselves that we are happy on the path that we're on because we're so disconnected from our bodies and from our inner wisdom. So that is a whole rabbit hole of exploration in of itself. But that is the place to begin. Just noticing where in your life, doing the kind of life audits, just trying to find one thing that you think is strategy oriented, identifying where and how it might be driven by scarcity, it might be driven by shoulds, and then maybe if there's something else in your life that is driven by magnetism and resonance. And if there's not, then you can start to identify what kind of thing can you make in your life, can you start doing that is from the energy of resonance and magnetism. When you're doing this audit and you're thinking about things, I want you to really get in touch with your body. Put your hand on your heart, maybe one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly. Close your eyes and just like really, really tune in. Feel into your inner landscape. This is a feeling experience. You're not going to get the answers you want from the mind. A huge part of this whole journey is really kind of separating, learning that our mind is not our body. There's two types of intelligences, and the deeper intelligence is what we're trying to learn how to tap into. So that means really quieting the mind and not just immediately buying into whatever noise it's going to try to say. I'm not saying that it will be wrong, but I'm just saying kind of identifying, learning how we can really just get clear on distinguishing the two. As you breathe, when safety lands, when you get a clear, calm answer of some sort, even if it's subtle, even if it's just a little nudge in one direction, which very well that might be it, then act. Do something. You'll know what to do. You'll have some inkling of like an idea of something that excites you or excited you as a kid, or a plan that you made a feeling out of obligation, or it's a pressured thing that you know you shouldn't go to because it's like FOMO or whatever it is. Something that's not in integrity and out of alignment for you. Get it off your calendar. Say you can't go. You know, that kind of thing. You'll know, whatever it is. It might be on different sides of the spectrum. Multiple things might come up. Follow whatever kind of embodied impulse comes. It probably won't feel like an impulse, but it'll be a guide, a nudge towards something. Follow it. Just as long as you're following it from that signal, not from strategy. Do not re-implement strategy from there on. If you want to take it into some journal prompts, you could ask, what strategy or strategies am I hiding behind right now? Or what silence am I scared to trust? That's a big one to sit with as well. I really advocate for journaling and then sitting again, touching your body, breathing, grounding, doing some breath work, walking barefoot, kind of just coming back into the basics, coming back into your body and chewing on it for a bit. Don't rush any answers. Let things come to you because it's all an unfolding. And oftentimes when the body's wisdom, especially when we're moving away from the mind and away from survival and dysregulation, like it takes time for these layers to kind of peel back because we need to achieve a certain level of safety and regulation in the body. It really does take time. It takes a lot of intentionality and a lot of consistency and discipline with these, breath practices and grounding and all that. So making that a habit first and foremost, I promise you everything else comes naturally after that. You don't need more strategy. You need safety. Magnetism is not about doing more. It's about holding more so that you can walk with your light on. What's one strategy you're ready to release so that magnetism and resonance can finally take its place? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate your support, and also hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more content like this. I think that's all I got for you. I will talk to you soon. Thank you for being here. Bye.